Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever it is you're tuning from, and when you're tuning in. Thank you for checking out the video. It's greatly appreciated, guys. Much love, much appreciation. Let's gather around the round table. All right, we're here to discuss the upcoming update for Grayzone Warfare version 0.2, also known as nightops. Games put out a live video on Twitch a few days ago discussing all the additions and the tweaks they're going to be doing to Grayzone here up in the upcoming future. I believe it's going to be in September, but not an official date has come out yet as far as I know. So let's gather around the round table. We're going to be going over the things that I wrote down that I believe are important, some key elements to the changes, and how we are going to be viewing the game here in the future after the update. So without further ado, let's get after it. So we're going to start off discussing about the very big thing that's going to be coming with the update, nightops. We're going to be seeing a lot of cool new features coming in with the introduction of the night cycle. We're going to be going over a few of those scenes here. One of those scenes is we're going to be seeing NVGs or nods. In a lot of other games that have nod capabilities, it usually covers the entire screen green. So it really doesn't have that realistic effect like nods have in real life. What the devs did in this one is just that. They're going to imitate what nods will actually do. So instead of having a full green screen, you're going to have a circle that is either going to be green or kind of like a whitish gray color screen. And then everything else around it is going to be blurred to really imitate as close to real life like you're wearing nods. Other features is we're going to be having both a single and dual nod headsets where you're either going to see out of one lens or two lens. I think it's going to be pretty cool. A couple other things that they discuss as well too in regards to nods is they're going to be having, sounds like different tiers. So you're going to have your lower tier nods all the way up to your higher tier. And that's going to depend on your quality. So your lower tiers are going to have a lower quality presentation, whereas your higher tier nods are going to give you a more clear image that you can be looking at. Other things they're going to be introducing is lights. So both exterior and interior lights to buildings, street lights, street lamps, that kind of stuff. Because they're going to be introducing interior lights into I would assume majority, if not all the buildings, they are going to now be adding a power box. Now this power box can be deactivated by the player to make things a little more interesting. A couple other features are going to be introducing with the night cycle. We're going to be seeing lasers and flashlights. With these two new additions as an attachment to your weapon, it sounds like you're going to be able to mount this on any side of the rail, whether the bottom, the top, the left, or the right. Now, what they did specifically say about the flashlights is you want to be careful because this stuff is going to cast a shadow. In the live stream, they did do a little bit of actual in-game play to kind of show the new features. One of them was with the flashlight. Now, what they showed is if you have the flashlight mounted on the bottom rail of the weapon, you're going to cast a shadow at the 12 o'clock. Same thing, if you have the flashlight at the 3, you're going to cast a shadow at the 9. This is usually going to be picking up, especially if you have a suppressor attached to the barrel. And you want to be mindful of when you're going to be using your flashlight because it does sound like that your flashlight will give your position away, not only to other players, but also the AI. I think another really cool feature that they're going to be adding as part of the night cycle is to imitate the Earth's rotation. So you're going to be seeing clouds, stars, and the moon be moving in the sky. So what they did say is that if you learn, it sounds like if you can learn the stars or the pattern of stuff, you will actually be able to navigate through the map by just using the stars. Another thing that they brought up is going to be the tracer rounds. Now, in the current state, tracer rounds really aren't that useful. I mean, I never really use them, but I don't see an opportunity where you can use them. Once the night cycle drops, that's when they're going to be considered essential by the devs. Basically, main thing that I'm going to be seeing the tracers being used for is to mark enemy locations when you are engaging for any other teammates you have on your team, or just to kind of give a general idea of where the enemy is going to be at. So one thing that doesn't really work well in real life is nods in conjunction with optics. So that's what the devs have done with the game, is that you will not be able to use your optics if you have your nods activated and down. So to use that, you will use that with the lasers. And a nice feature that they're adding is that you're going to be able to have the option to cant the weapon so then you can target with the laser itself. I think that's going to be a really cool feature. Hopefully you guys think that as well. So one thing that was kind of brought up in regards to the night cycle is what's it going to look like when it comes to the time? Is it going to be in relation to real time or is it going to be in relation to game time? The devs answered that question. It's going to be game time. So I don't know how quickly sped up time is going to be. But what they did say is that you can track of when to expect the change between the day and the night. There is going to be a clock in the top left corner. So from there, you'll be able to kind of prep and plan at base camp if you're going to need to bring anything in regards to nods, lasers, anything like that, or have that stuff already equipped, ready to go, so that when you leave during the daytime and then it becomes night, you're going to be able to continue your mission without any issues. The next thing that I want to discuss is the AI rework. Now, I'm not going to beat a dead horse on this because we all know the issues with the AI. The big thing is the aimbot, and the devs are aware and they plan on reworking that and going to be adjusting that aimbot. Now, what they want to do is they do want to make it still challenging to verse the AI, but make it manageable. Other changes to the AI that the devs talked about is going to be the types of AI that you're going to come across that are going to have access to flashlights, nods, and lasers. And they broke it down into, in a sense, the tier level of the enemy or the AI. So we have the lower level, which is going to be your rebels. At most, they're going to have access to flashlights. And it sounds like not all of them are going to carry flashlights. Some may have it on the weapon. Some may have it as like a flashlight attached to the vest. Once you start working your way through and you start going up to the higher tier level AI, i.e. the military level, that's where you're going to be coming across AI that are going to have nod capabilities, laser capabilities, flashlight capabilities, probably all three, maybe a pair of a couple of them. And not all the AI are going to come across that, but you are going to come across some that will have those capabilities. That's where they did say that light and laser discipline are really going to come into play when it comes to strategizing your movements and your way of being able to work around the map. One thing that they did discuss about when it comes to lasers is it sounds like that if an AI has nod capabilities, then they are more likely going to be seeing your laser. So that is going to, in a sense, kind of give away your location. It is very clear and obvious that your strategy and gameplay is going to differ from the daytime to the nighttime. Another change that they're going to be doing with the introduction to the night cycle is during the daytime, that's where you're going to see a lot of the AIs running around, walking around, guards, everything like that. But at nighttime, they're going to be changing it up to where you're only going to see a few guards, maybe one or two or three, and then the rest are going to be found inside buildings. They're going to be seeking shelter. They're going to be in bed, asleep, just kind of like what you would see in real life. So your approach may be a little bit easier, maybe able to get in with unseen easier than daytime. However, you're not going to know where all the enemies are at because they're going to be inside buildings, asleep. And obviously, once you start engaging and then the AI starts alerting, everybody's going to wake up. So a couple things it did discuss when it comes to the actual player and mechanics that they changed with that is that they did talk about adding diagonal sprint. As of right now, you can only sprint forward. Can't do it backward, can't do it left, can't do it right. They're going to be introducing the ability to be able to diagonally sprint across the map as well as prone leaning. We do not have that function right now. That is only allowed in stand and kneeling positions. But we are going to get that with this new upgrade, so I think that's going to be pretty cool and really kind of change the strategy when it comes to really laying low and being able to just pop around a tree instead of having to crawl out and expose your entire body. So another big issue that has been brought up by the community many, many times is the helos, and it's a variety of things. We're talking how loud those things are, right? You hop on the bird, and that thing is so loud you can barely hear the teammates that are on the bird with you. The other complaints that I've seen and that the devs are hearing is the spawn rate. It takes forever for a bird to get to your location, it seems, at times. I know one time it took like 7 minutes and 50 seconds for me to wait from a bird to come all the way from base camp down to pick me up to bring me back to the base. So for example, let's say you're in bomb pod, you want to get back to base. You call on that bird in real time. You're sitting at your desk for like 2 to 3 minutes while that bird comes to you because it's coming all the way up from your base. How they're going to rework this is that if you're in bomb pod and you call on that bird to go back to base, or to another location, the spawn is going to be closer to you, so you don't have to wait as long. So hopefully that's going to increase the helo time, the helo response time, so that we're not having to wait so long. As of right now, they are not going to be included anymore. It's still just going to be 4 birds up in the air at once for one faction. They also mentioned about increasing flight time. Now, whether that is because of the change in spawn point, depending on where you are at and you call in the bird, or if that's actually going to be changing the actual speed of the bird itself in flight. And if that's the case, that's also going to be cutting down the time of how long it takes those birds to get around the map, which is going to be very useful. And I feel like that's going to make a lot of people happy. Going back to how loud these birds are, you got to grab those ugly looking yellow earmuffs, throw those things on. The downside to that is that those things take up 4 slots, and that's going to be in your inventory. So those are 4 slots that you just lost, so you could put another headset in, or 2 ACOGs, 4, PKS sites, whatever it is, right? That's 4 slots you just lost because now you have to have this at a headset, so that then you're not going deaf by the sounds of the blades from the helicopter as you're in flight. So what they're going to be adding is if you are wearing a headset, whether it's the Razor or the other type, I can't remember the name for it, right? But it's the headsets that enhance the sounds around you. They are going to give a feature that you can press a button and it's going to deactivate the ambient sound of the headset. So it's going to deafen the sound of the helicopter, but you're still going to be able to communicate with your friends in the server if you're outside of another like third-party source like Discord. So another thing they discussed that's going to be specific to the player is the weapons. So they only mentioned one weapon type, which is going to be the MP5, but they did say that they want to introduce up to around 5 new guns. They're going to be bringing in new attachments. And I know that a lot of us have been asking for new guns, so they've answered. We're going to get it. What the other ones are going to be, I don't know. I don't know if we're going to be seeing more sniper rifles, shotguns, maybe an LMG. I don't know, but we're going to have to wait and see once the update comes. They're also going to be tweaking and improving the gear and the inventory that each player has. They're going to be introducing filter improvements such as stash cases so that then you can stash your gear, your weapons. Hopefully that's going to be including maybe some loot as well too. They're going to be introducing those to make the organization easier for the player. They're also going to be reworking some of the ammo. A lot of people have been complaining about the 9mm and the shotgun rounds not performing like they should. So they're going to be reworking that, and they might be tweaking some other ammo, but those were the 2 things that they did bring up in the video, was the 9mm and the shotgun. So those will be tweaked and reworked to be able to function as they should. Moving on to vendors and also discussing the economy on top of that. So what they plan on doing is they are going to be reworking the economy, which is going to be reworking the value of loot, gear, weapons. That's both buying and selling from the vendors, to my understanding. Another thing that they are going to be introducing is, as of right now in the current state, pretty much everything is infinite. And you can buy 100 of the same item from the same vendor. They're now going to be limiting vendor stock, and I don't know if that's going to be for everything or if that will be just for certain things, but there will be a limit. Now, there will be resupplied, but they did not discuss it will be within a 24-hour window. It will be a 5-day window. At some point, the vendor will run out and you'll just have to wait until the resupply happens. On the flip side, to the limited stock for the vendors, they're going to be introducing backup packages, which this is going to include, they said gear, just gear alone, but I'm going to assume maybe a weapon or 2. But this is usually going to be handed out to the players, especially if you're a player that dies a lot and you're losing gear and you can't afford to get more gear from the vendors. These backup packages are going to be there for you. Now, how often are these going to spawn or be given to you? I have no idea. They didn't discuss that. They also didn't discuss on the availability of these. If it's like, every week, you'll get an opportunity that you could pick up a backup package. So that's all being for future discussion. Another thing that they discussed is the loot, that they are going to be introducing new loot, and some of this loot is probably going to be considered rare, which means it's going to be even harder to find. So you're going to have to grind more to be able to find this type of these types of items. Now, whether it's going to be just for specific selling, whether you're going to need it for a mission, they didn't really discuss that. But we are going to be seeing more loot that we'll be able to find during our exploring, which is going to make, at least for me, I feel like it's going to bring a lot more to the game. So I'm sure many of you have been asking this question. I know how I have been myself. What is going to happen with the tasks when the wipe happens? Are we going to see new tasks? Is it going to be the same missions just like Escape from Tarkov where they basically just reset them, put them back to 0? Well, the devs answered that question, and it sounds like, I don't know if it's going to be every single mission or half or some, but some of the missions are going to be reworked to some degree. So what that means is items that you found in one spot are more than likely probably not going to be there, and they're going to be somewhere else. So it's going to cause you to have to do some more exploring to give a little bit of a change to the missions. They're also going to be including new missions, both that can be completed during the daytime and night cycle. They did say that they are going to be introducing missions that are going to be nighttime specific. So that is going to be the only way you're going to be able to complete those types of missions. They also hit up the gameplay itself and the environment and the map. Now, they did say that they are not going to be expanding the map, but more focusing on the density of the map. So we're going to be seeing some brand new places that we haven't seen before. I don't know if every single one's going to be filled with NPCs or not. And I don't know if these new places are going to be introducing some of these new missions, or if it's just be kind of filler spots, kind of like what we see in like small little like huts and few houses between the big cities that we all go to for the missions. So it sounds like they are going to be working the ambient lighting a little bit because of the new night cycle that they are going to be introducing. So in towns, we're going to be having on, a lot of light. And then out in the woods where you got a lot of trees, a lot of brush and stuff, you're going to be limited to light, if not no light at all. And that's going to come into play with the effect of the nods. So the ambient light, you're going to have a more clear, better picture when you're utilizing nods versus the low light to no light in wooded bush areas. It's going to be a little bit harder to see and a little bit harder to depict what you're looking at is a figure or if it's a bush. In the current state, in order to be able to communicate with somebody within the faction, is you have to click on their name, you have to hit message, and that's how you communicate that way. They want to rework it a little bit so that in each server, there's going to be a faction chat channel that you can be able to hop into. You can chat with other faction members and work together, whether it's to warn a specific certain area. This will also play a part in coordinating either offensive or defensive moves against enemy factions in the PvP mode. And lastly, this is a thing that a lot of people have been complaining about. I know I have been complaining about and been frustrated about it. It's going to be about the keys, guys. The devs are going to be reworking the key spawns. So you're going to be able to find keys faster, but it's not going to be instant. Probably especially for the ones that are still a bit more rare to find, such as the Elder Key, the generator key for YBL. So it's still going to take a few raids, but you're going to come across them a little bit faster. I know I'm going to be happy about it because I'm sick and tired of not being able to complete missions because I don't have a specific key and it's rare, hard to find, and you got to find somebody who does have a key that can go open the door for you. So it sounds like the devs are going to continue the progression through optimizing the development of the game and adding new things and fixing and tweaking the issues that the community brings forward to them. Another big topic is the wipes. Now, the devs did talk about this. There will be wipes. It's going to come with the big updates, like the one we're going to be seeing this month. All future big updates are going to include a wipe. Now, they did not say a time frame of when these wipes are going to happen, whether it'll be every 4 months, every 6 months, every 8 months. It's just whenever they are going to be introducing a big update, that's when the game will wipe. Now, they did not discuss all the new features that they are going to be bringing forward this new update. They did want to keep some of it a surprise, so I am excited and looking forward to what the devs are going to be introducing, especially the stuff they haven't even talked about yet. Next Thursday, the 12th, they did say they're going to be doing a preview of the roadmap, so that is probably where we are going to be seeing the official date for the wipe and any future plans that they have coming up that they are currently working on. So definitely tune into that. I'm assuming it's going to be on Twitch. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video and the key points that I brought up. If there's something that I have not discussed and you want to talk about it, let me know in the comments and we'll discuss it there. If you guys would like to see more of this, let me know in the comments. Give the video a thumbs up. And if you're not already, make sure to become a follower or a subscriber to all my socials. You'll find those in the description below. And I'd like to know what's going to keep you around or what's going to bring you back if you've quit playing the game. Let me know in the comments. And as always, guys, stay safe, take care, have a great day. See you next time.